All right, welcome everybody. If you guys can hear me clearly, type Y in the chat box. You can hear me clearly, type Y in the chat box. Those of you on the conference call line, if you are in front of your computer, you can see the screen if you go to liveonedream.info. That is liveonedream.info. Welcome to our Saturday evening live mindset training part 2. Now, this is interesting training tonight. Why? Because there's a lot of things happening tonight. It's a beautiful Saturday evening. There's a lot of distractions. The fight is tonight, and I know there's a whole lot of people that wants to go watch the fight. But that fight's not putting money in my pocket, so I'm working. But this is a very interesting time. We're now almost halfway through 2014, and it's always important to reevaluate and focus on why you're here. Why you're doing what you're doing. Where are you headed? Where are you going? What have you been doing over the past 6 months? Are you where you'd like to be? Have your goals been made? Did you make any goals? You got to self-reflect. You just can't allow life to just dictate, your course, the set of your sail. You set your own sail no matter which way the wind is blowing. So last week on part 1 we talked about how to be a professional in network marketing. We talked about that in detail. Remember the difference between the posers, the amateurs, and the professionals. Where our economy is going, not just in the United States of America, but also the worldwide economy. We're all affected by what's happening in one part of the world and in one major industry, which is e-commerce, whether you like it or not. But if you're going to be in a business or anything you do, you want to be the best. You want to be a professional. You cannot treat your business like a hobby. So since we talked last week about how and the importance of being a professional, let's go back even further as to why. What's going to keep you in the game? So first and foremost, know your why. Know your why. This is something that you should have written down somewhere. Why are you here? Where are you going? And what is going to motivate you to get to where you want to be? So first and foremost, let's recognize where we are today. Because where you are today is the sum result of every decision you've made in your life until this point, including your bank account. That's true. You spend 30 years, 40 years of your lives making decisions that have led you exactly to where you are now. And if you want more out of life, you have to become more. You have to make new decisions. You need to figure out a new why, because the old why has not gotten you to where you want to be. So some people say, well, I need help with that. I don't understand my why, my motivation. All my life, I've done what I've been told to do. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. See, in a home-based business, you don't have a boss. You're not going to get fired if you show up late to work. You're not going to get written up for taking too long of a lunch break or talking on the phone during business hours. See, the thing that keeps you on track is your why. Because there are consequences if you don't do the things you're supposed to do. It's just not immediate. You don't see it immediately. So how do you know your why? Well, here's the best way for me to do this for you. And so for those of you on the East Coast, I know it is after 10 o'clock, so you'll be going to sleep soon. Before you go to sleep, I want you to think about this. What would you do with your life if money was no longer an issue? Oh, what do I mean by that? Money is no longer an issue. Do you realize that broke people and poor people think about money more than rich people do? What? Brandon, what are you talking about? Yeah, this is true. It's true. See, when you're broke and you're poor, You're always thinking about, where am I going to get the money to buy my next meal? Where am I going to get the money to pay for my new shoes? My kid has to go to college. Where am I going to get money so I can pay for college? What's going to happen if I get laid off? How am I going to pay my rent, my mortgage? What do I need to do to stop that foreclosure from happening? We're always thinking about money. Rich people think about quality of life. Because money is not an object to them. It is not a barrier to them. So they don't think about money anymore. They think about what do they want without ever worrying about how much does it cost. When was the last time you ever went into a store and you never looked at the price tag on whatever it was you were going to buy? Why are you looking at the price tag? Because you're thinking about the money. Does a rich person go into a store and look at the price tag? No. Why not? They're not thinking about the money. They already have it. They don't need to think about it anymore. Isn't that amazing? I know when I heard that for the first time, a light bulb went off in my head. I never thought of it that way. You know, the glass half full or half empty. I was always taught that rich people are selfish, rich people are greedy. All rich people do is think about money, like Ebenezer Scrooge. It's not necessarily the case. So what is your why? I want you to think about before you go to sleep. What is your why? You may think time with family, college education, new home, be debt-free. Take a family vacation, give more to the church, retirement, boat, car. I'm going to make this a little bit more difficult. You've already done all of these things. You've already taken all the vacations you wanted. You bought all the houses you wanted. You and your entire family's debt-free. You tithe more to the church in a month than most people make in a year. Retirement, what's that? You never have to worry about retirement. You've done all your clothes shopping. Anything that you can think of buying, you've already done. And then you wake up 1 year later on a Monday morning when your eyes open, which could be at 10 or 11 a.m., and you've realized that there's nothing else you want to buy. You've already bought everything, and you don't have to go to work, and you look in your bank account, and there's more money in your bank account than before you actually went on this spending spree. So the real question is, what would you do with your time and your life? Why did God put you on this earth? Most people never realize that because they're so busy working. They're so busy putting 40 to 80 hours a week on their job. Coming home dead tired, not enough energy to spend with the family. And they keep this pace up for 40 years of their lives, never fully realizing their full potential. So what would you do? What do you want to do? People say your why should be something that makes you cry. That's not good enough. What do you mean? Isn't that an emotion? And aren't emotions the most powerful thing in the universe? Yes, they are. But crying is what I like to call an emotional release, not a call to action. What's the difference there? Well, just because you cry something, does that mean you actually change your situation? I know people who cry all the time. Their situation never changes. Crying is just an emotional release. It does not move people to action. And if it did, everybody would be in a better situation than they are right now. Whether you admit to it or not, I'm sure every single one of you has cried about something, even the men. I'm a man, I can admit to it. Nobody else would know it or see it ever happen, but it does. We men, we cry. So crying is not good enough. Why are you here? What would you do with your life? 99% of people never, ever entertain this thought after the age of 15 years old. Because they have to live in what's called reality. So they never even give it a thought of what would I do if money was no longer an object in my life. The only time we come close to thinking like that is whenever the lottery gets to what, $200, $300 million, and we start to dream again. Man, if I won that lottery, this is what I would do with the money. If you've ever done that before, type me in the chat box. Think about that. You saw the lotto was super big. And you start dreaming about what you would do if you won the lottery. Here's something that's very important to know. Did you know that more than 70% of people who won the lottery go broke within 10 years? And when you interview those people, you know what they say? It's very interesting. They say, I wish I never won the lottery. What? What are you talking about? Even if you're broke after 10 years, you had a great 10-year run, right? No. See, the universe will never give to us what we don't deserve or can handle. And when somebody wins the lottery, they are now have money dropped on them that they didn't deserve. They never learned the skills necessary to earn that type of money. And now that they have it, they definitely don't know the skills necessary to learn how to keep it. There's one story I used to watch all the time on TV about lottery winners, tracking them. And there's one guy who won a $30 million lottery. He was already worth $10 million. He turned that $30 million into $300 million in 10 years. He was the exception to the rule. Why? He was already worth $10 million. He knew what it took to make that kind of money. And he understood one fundamental thing that most people never understand about money. Money is just energy, not an object to be worshipped. It is just energy. It is fuel. The more money you have, the more you are able to do. That's all. It's just energy. And you give $30 million to a guy who already has $10 million, he knows what to do with it. You give $200 million to a person who makes $30,000 a year, watch what happens. You lose that money quickly. All that ended up happening was, now, you had all the time in the world and all the resources in the world to self-destruct much faster than you were doing on a $30,000 a year salary. You guys understand that? It's not the money. It's the individual. That's why self-improvement and personal development is so important. And that's what this training is going over. For you to self-recognize where you are. Each person's different. I cannot tell you what your why is. Only you can. So now that you've figured out what it is that you want, I want you to imagine already having it. I want you to imagine living that type of a lifestyle. And here's the most important part of it all. How does it make you feel? How do you feel waking up when you're finished sleeping, never having to worry about money? Does it make you feel good? For us men, for us, it makes us have what's called peace of mind. The Bible says, peace that surpasses all understanding. Because as a man, our whole goal is to be able to provide for our families. And our stress is when we're challenged to not being able to be a provider. A woman's peace of mind will all her needs be met, either by her or her husband. Security is what women look after the most. Security for her and her cubs, her children. And a man is the provider. So what does it feel like to have conquered that game of life? To be able to be out of the rat race. You are no longer a slave. What does it feel like? And the reason why you do this exercise before you go to sleep is because when you go to sleep, your brain never goes to sleep. Your subconscious is still awake. It is still working out problems to solve in your life. You put in your mind before you go to sleep. The movies that you watch, the music that you may listen to. There's a reason why wealthy people always play Baroque classical music to their newborn babies at nighttime. There's a reason for that. You think it's uppity bougie music. Baroque classical music stimulates the brain, to your brain waves, to be on a certain wavelength. It's a higher wavelength. It's like the rich wavelength. Even music has different wavelengths that affect our brain, our vibration. So you make sure you give your brain good thoughts and tasks before you go to sleep. Because now when you go to sleep, your brain does not understand what's real and what is not real. That's why when you wake up thinking, wow, that dream felt so real. To your brain, it was real. Your brain only knows what you give it. Physical stimulation from your ears, your mouth, your smell, your touch, all gets rerouted back to the brain, and the brain processes it. Did you know that you can trick your brain? You can trick your brain into believing that you're rich, and as a result, your brain will put out vibrations to attract other vibrations on the same wavelength as you. That's where you hear what I just described to you is called the law of attraction scientifically. This is a scientific fact that the brain emits brain waves and vibrations, and it acts as a magnet. And if you're broke and all you think about is the problems in your life, you will continue to attract that. Now, I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I just want you to be able to reprogram your brain before you go to sleep to have that positive, that feeling. You feel great. Because when you wake up, you're going to wake up and start your new morning feeling good, instead of feeling bad. You guys understand that? Having a good start to your day can set the tone for your entire day rather than having a bad start to your day and negative thoughts. And this isn't something that you do just once. You do this all the time. The most important part of it is remembering the feeling of it. It's not, the guy walking around all day, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. No. Affirmations are great, but they don't work if you don't have the emotions to back it up. It's more about capturing that feeling. If you have trouble with this, YouTube Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins is very big talking about changing your physiology. Change your physiology and that will change your life. So you can YouTube that on another time. Just remember that. You can write that down. Tony Robbins. Changing your physiology. Why that is so important. So now that you've got that down, you know your why, and it feels great. Now you must set goals for yourself. Short-term and long-term goals. Personal and business. For some of you, they are one and the same. For me, it is. Business and personal is one and the same. You know what they always say? It's not work if you're enjoying what you're doing. My work is my life. I'm having fun. I love what I do. I don't realize that I'm actually working. And I get paid to do it. So set short-term and long-term goals. You're in a home-based business. One of your first short-term goals is make my money back that it cost me to join my business. Make my money back. How long or how fast are you going to do that? A week? A day? 6 months? Set that goal. The next is your long-term goal? Are you just looking to make a couple $100s a month? Are you looking to make a couple of $1,000s a month? Are you looking to walk off your job and retire? Are you looking to replace your 401k? Are you looking to make enough money just to pay your rent or your mortgage? Are you looking for enough money just so that you can go on a spending spree every now and then and travel the world? Because you're not looking to retire from your job. You enjoy what you do. Are you looking to buy a new car? When? What kind of car? What color is it? What model? What year? What make? You want to buy a new house? Where? How much? How big? How many bedrooms? You want to take a vacation? Where? What beach? What resort? What hotel? You want to fund missions? Which mission? How much do you want to fund? How often? Is it the only one? You be detailed and you write this stuff down. See why? You just can't think about it. And I got to admit, I'm bad at this. Because I have it all in my head, but I don't really write it down because it's in my head. See, the purpose of writing it down is you're taking a thought from your brain and you're putting it into the physical world by writing it down. That's your first step into it becoming a reality. You want to hit a certain position. Star affiliate, power, global, when, how? How soon? Write these goals down. It doesn't matter how great or outlandish it is. There's no such thing as that's just too big of a goal to put down. No such thing. Even if you fall short, you're way ahead than where you would have been if you never put down a goal. Understand that it takes time to grow anything. This is what we talked about last week as being a professional. It takes time to grow anything. Time. What's amazing to me about people is they'll spend 30 years of their lives making decisions and building habits that got them to exactly where they are. Then they join a home-based business and they expect to change 30 years of habits in 30 to 60 days. And if they don't make $10,000 in 60 days, they quit. They say it doesn't work. They want to go do something else where they think the grass is greener somewhere else. It takes 20 days to create a habit. 21 days. And then it's going to take you some time for that habit to build fruition. 21 days. Take a look at Tyler Perry. Every single successful person, it did not happen overnight. They had trials, tribulations, and struggles along the way, and they're successful because they never gave up. They kept moving forward. When you plant your seed and water it, does it grow tomorrow? Or do you have to keep planting it and keep planting it, or keep watering it, keep watering it, keep watering it? Like a bamboo seed. It is the slowest seed in the world to sprout, to break ground. But once it starts to grow, it turns into the fastest growing tree on the planet. Almost like overnight. It takes years for it to start to grow. And then overnight, boom! It takes off like a rocket. How long are you willing to water your seed? This is something that you need to write down as well. Are you here? You're going to give it a 30-day pass? 60 days? 6 months? 1 year? How long until you decide that I'm not going to grow this anymore because I'm not seeing the results I want to see? And that's okay for whatever number you come up with, as long as you are giving yourself some time. If you join a home-based business, and I was taught this, you need to commit 3 to 5 years minimum, no matter what company you join, to see steady, long-term, stable results 3 to 5 years. No matter how much money you make. Most people won't willing to give it 6 months. And that's okay. This is just a fact. 3 to 5 years. Stay consistent and work your business. It won't work it unless you work it. I can't tell you how many times people call me up and complain. This doesn't work. I'm not making any money. How many people did you expose the business to? I'll give you an example. It was almost 2 years ago. One gentleman came up to me, been in the business for 30 days, and said, I'm going to quit. I want to try to get my money back. I give up. It's not working. I'm like, wow, you just got started. How many presentations have you been on? One. When was that? The night I signed up. How come you haven't been on any more? I already heard it once. Why do I need to hear you talk more, Brandon? Yeah. I guess I should only go to church one Sunday, right? I don't need to go again. Guess I only need to eat one meal. I don't need to eat more. I had one glass of water already. Why? The water's going to taste the same. Why do I need to drink it again? So how many people do you have on your team? One. How many people did you have in front of a presentation? One. So you're batting 1,000. Why don't you just put more people on a presentation? Well, I'm talking to people and they don't want to show up to this. So you give up. Is that what you're saying? So the business isn't what didn't work. You didn't work the business. You have to treat this like a business. Like last week, you have to be a professional. A professional. Even Michael Jordan went to practice. There's one superstar in the NBA that made a laughable line. And there's no wonder why he was always going through problems and struggles. But he skipped out on a practice. And he was fined by the team by it and suspended. And he went and had a national conference about it, talking about, you're going to suspend me, the best player on the team, because I missed practice? Practice? Some of you may know who I'm talking about. I won't say his name. And that's why he lost in the finals on the NBA. That's why he's broke today, a couple of years after retirement from the NBA. Wrong attitude. The championship was won in the practice, not on the court. Practice. Work your business. No, it wasn't Dion. Dion's football. This was basketball. You cannot expect to reap a harvest if you have not sowed any seed. You must put in some time if you want to get time. You guys understand that? Yep, Miron, you have it right. You must put in some time if you want to get time. A lot of times people, when they look at a home-based business and they pay their money to get started, they act like it's a lottery ticket. All right, I paid my money. I should just sit back now and $10,000 should start rolling into me. And when it doesn't, they're like, hey, I paid money and I'm not making any money. How come? Why not? Well, now you got to go to work. You have to build your business. This is just the beginning. You're not exempt. This is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. My wife reminds me of this all the time. It's like paying for a gym membership and never going to the gym. You're not going to develop muscles just because you're paying for a gym membership. You have to get in the gym. By the way, I'm going next week, girl.
Okay. Leave it when I see it.
You have to put in the time. You guys understand that? Very important. Ignorance on fire is way better than intelligence on ice, aka paralysis of analysis. What will grow your business tenfold and you having people sign up with you is not because of how much knowledge you know about your business. It's going to be because of how excited you are about your business. Somebody having a whole lot of excitement will always outproduce somebody like me who knows 100% of the knowledge of the business. Ignorance on fire. Light yourself on fire and people will come to watch you burn. Here's something you got to know, guys. By nature, most people are followers. Followers. Because we've been conditioned that way since birth. We've been conditioned to do what we're told. To stay in line. To be sheep. Not go out on your own. You get penalized for doing so. It's too risky out there on your own. Don't go down a road never walked on before. Follow everybody else. We've been taught that way. So if you know that the majority of the people that you talk to are followers, meaning how much money are you making? Is anybody making any money? You know that type of attitude with people. They won't move a muscle unless they see somebody else doing it first. That is also partly why a lot of you may be having a lot of struggle in our company right now. We're blazing new ground, trailblazers. It hasn't been done before, at least not in the United States. You guys are the first. And a lot of times, a lot of people can't handle that. And a lot of times people, that's not what they signed up for. That's not what they're looking for. And that's okay as well. I thrive in that type of environment. I love being the first. It's a challenge. It's a personal challenge. To create something that nobody has seen before. That's why I'm retired at 36 years old. I definitely do not follow the crowd. Not at all, or I would be in a whole bunch of other companies right now. I like to make the music. Not sing along with it with everybody else. So if you are excited about what you do, people are going to come to you. Use that to your advantage. Create a success story for yourself. Start to develop the right mental attitude. Attitude. Attitude is everything. Everything. See, life happens to all of us. Nobody is exempt from life. We all have to go through the same 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, 30 to 31 days in a month, 12 months in a year, 365 days in a year. Nobody is allotted more or extra time. And we have the same time until we die, and we never know when that exactly is going to be. What matters is what you do during the time that you are allotted. Tragedy will happen to you. Misfortune will happen to you. What they call bad luck will happen to you. What separates you apart from everybody else is how you decide to respond to life's challenges. That's the major difference. You ever want to know the true character of a man? Squeeze him. Put him in a bad situation. See, when the money is flowing, everybody's making money, everything's so happy and hunky-dory and good, everything's fine, right? Everybody's giving each other high fives. Everybody's smiling and happy. But what do you do when things don't go your way? What do you do when the money isn't flowing anymore? When times get tough? When that stress comes back into your head? When those sleepless nights hit you again? You're being squeezed. And when you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. When you squeeze an apple, you get apple juice. When you squeeze a lemon, you get lemon juice. That person that was smiling and happy-go-lucky, when he gets or she gets squeezed, what comes out of them? The truth. Whether positive or negative, the truth is what comes out. That's how you can tell the character and measure of a man. Squeeze them. That's in the military doctrine as well. They squeeze you. That's how you get weeded out. So it's all good when times are going great. But who are you when times are not going so great? That's why it's important to have long-term thinking. I'll give you an example here. I have turned down a lot of money. I have turned down good opportunities out there right now. Why? Because I have long-term thinking and I'm passionate about what it is I'm doing right now. I believe there is nothing out there that is going to have me in a better position long-term than exactly where I am right now with the Sherlock. That is my own personal conviction. That may not necessarily be yours, because you may not be looking for the same thing I'm looking for. Your long-term thinking may take you down a different path. You may think, I need to make a whole lot of money right now, and if it's not happening fast enough here, I got to go somewhere else. And that's okay as well. Whatever decision you make is the right one for you. I always look at, and I've been in this industry for a long time, maybe that's why, but have you ever seen I remember when a person, I won't name names, but in Visalis, was making over $70,000 a month and quit and went to another company. And you think, why in the world would that person quit? What's wrong with Visalis? Nothing. Nothing. Every single person, you never know what's going on in their life. You never know what's going on in their world. You don't know what their short-term and long-term goals are. And they make a decision that you may not be able to understand. And a lot of people think that they start to question their own decision. If you have that type of mindset, I'm telling you now, you're not there yet. If what somebody else does and whatever decision somebody else makes starts to sway you on yours, you're not there yet. That's okay. You still got learning to do. I am not waved or moved by what somebody else does, by decisions they need to make that they feel is best for their own family and their own household. You wish them the best. You focus on what is happening for you and yours. Again, I'm not a follower. But you want to treat your business like $100,000 business. Better yet, $1 million business. Not $100 business. Treat your business like $1 million business. Do you think that Steve Jobs treated Apple like a, $200 business? No. Guess what? At one point it was, when he first got it started. What about Mark Zuckerberg? Do you think he treated Facebook when it got started as a $100 business? What about Google? Amazon. Do you think any of these guys that started these companies treated their business like a hobby? No. So why in the world would you? Here's another way to gauge where you are personally. If you're more concerned in your head with the cost of being in business, $34.95 or whatever, than you are with how much money you could possibly earn, you're not there yet mentally. You're focusing on the cost. I'm going to tell you now, no matter what decisions you make, there's always a cost. That cost could be fantastic. That cost could be small. It could be with money, or it could be with your time, or both. But mark my words, there is a cost. And the bigger your dream, the bigger the cost. Are you willing to pay the price? Some of you, it may be not yet. Some of you, it may be, I'll wait and see. And that's okay as well. Understand, every decision you make is the right one for you. There is no bad decision. There's just decisions that mark results. You guys understand that? Results. The most important things that you can bring to your Sherlock business: work ethic, desire, commitment, be coachable, and excitement. All of those things. Without a good work ethic, you're not going to survive in anything that you do. You can jump ship from company to company to company, and you will never make it because you don't have the right work ethic. Desire. If you don't have desire, you're not going to be able to stay in the game very long. Because when the money stops flowing, and you haven't reached your destination yet, and you don't have a desire, you're gone. You're gone. I don't care how great the company is. Without the proper desire, I'll give you an example. I am not a products-based type of person. Health and wellness industry will always be a huge industry, especially right now because the baby boomers are getting into retirement. Those juice products and the skincare creams are going to make a killing. Those companies are going to make billions. But guess what? I don't have a desire to work those programs. Therefore, if I join those companies simply because, oh, the company's great, and I don't have a desire, I'm not going to make any money. You can show me the best company out there and I'll show you somebody broke. You can show me the worst company out there and I'll show you somebody making 6 figures. Commitment. Are you committed? That goes back to setting your goals, long-term thinking. Are you committed? Some of you are only committed for 2 or 3 months. Some of you for a year. Some of you for 2 years. Only you can come up with your commitment level. But I like to look at it as like you're dating. You're dating. A lot of you are dating your business right now. You know that phase where it's brand new, it's exciting. You've seen it for the first time, just like looking at that skirt walking down the street. She's new, she's exciting, and you date her. But then you put the ring on the finger and you commit. But let's say before you do that, all of a sudden there's a new skirt walking down the street. I mean, the old one you have, is not so exciting anymore. The novelty has worn off. You're used to the habits. You're used to her. You start seeing things that you didn't see before. And all of a sudden a new skirt walks down the street. It's exciting. It's fresh. It smells differently. And you jump ship and you jump onto the new skirt. And after you get bored and tired of that one, you jump onto the next one. That's how people do companies in network marketing. They're excited. It's in pre-launch. Everybody's talking about it. It's exciting. It's all over Facebook. Wow, wow, wow. Let me jump on board too. 3 months later, everybody's moving to a different company. and then you follow. 3 months later, they're moving on to another one, and you follow. And you do this over and over and over and over and over again. You have to commit. You know what commitment means? Doing something long after the mood has left you. Instead of dating your business, you need to marry your business. Because there will be bad times. There will. I guarantee it. There will be bad times. But those bad times are temporary. The only thing we don't know is how long is that temporary. That temporary could be 1 day. It could be 1 month. In some cases, it may be a year. But it is temporary. The person who keeps moving forward, no matter what they're doing, always ends up winning if they don't quit. Always. Make a commitment to your business and stick with it. Be coachable. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. A lot of you may be coming, to this business or this industry, and you're a professional, a lawyer, a doctor, a agent, real estate, in your field. But this is a new field. If there's already a system in place that works, don't reinvent the wheel. Do what works. Rinse and repeat. Be coachable. And then the last but not least is have excitement. We talked about that ignorance on fire, right? Just being excited, enthusiasm. People can feel your excitement level. If you're not excited about what you're doing, why should somebody else be excited about what you're doing? Right? You have to be excited about what you're doing. And then just follow the system. Rinse and repeat. Follow the system. Your business, like life, will be an emotional roller coaster. It will. Just don't make your highs too high or your lows too low. Some will, some won't, some wait. So what next? You're going to be excited. You're going to go to somebody, tell them about, hey, you hear about e-commerce. You got to get positioned. They're going to say, no. What are you going to do? Give up and quit? Here's what I've heard about Sherlock. Not just from people outside, but people who merged over with us. It's a stupid name. I don't understand it. People are saying no. It's not sexy enough. It's hard to talk to people about the business. So I'm going to give up as well. I'm going to go do something else. And in those cases, I wish you the best. And as I always say this, there is no one company for everybody. You have to get in where you fit in. It doesn't matter the vehicle as long as you're still keeping your eye on the goal. A vehicle is just a vehicle, not the end all be all. You just can't keep switching vehicles before the vehicle ever leaves the city, or you're always going to be in the same city. You got to eventually pick one and stick with it, for good or bad. I guarantee there's no perfect company out there. No matter what company you see out there, there's problems that you don't even know about. There's issues you don't even know about that all of a sudden you'll experience once you're now on the inside. So some will, some won't. So what? So some wait. Next. Who was it? Was it you, Daniel, or Jens, that sponsored somebody new? Boris. And been working on Boris for like a year now. He was waiting. The timing just wasn't right for him yet. See, what your job is not to go get people and sign them up in the business. That is not your job. Your job is to expose other people to the business and let them decide if they want to be involved or not. But them deciding not to doesn't mean you quit. You're just exposing. This is the law of numbers. I'll tell you, if you follow this format for 1 year, you will reach the top position of the company. Talk to 2 people about your business a day for a year. 2 people a day for a year. Doesn't matter what the results are. Doesn't matter results. The results, worst case scenario is like 10% closing ratio. 10 to 20%. And even after all the people who sign up, only 20% of those who sign up will stay with the business longer than 6 months. Only 20%. Which means you're going to lose 80%. I love what Bill Britt said. Number one, he joined his company Amway 5 years after he got started. He's worth over $250 million. And you know what he said? I have personally recruited over 2,000 people in my career. 2,000 people personally recruited. How many people do you think he had to talk to sign up 2,000 people? Out of those 2,000 people, about 400 of them took it seriously. Out of those 400, 40 of them became professional with it. Out of those 40, about 8 of them, 8 people, is why he made $250 million. 8. So he had to go through 2,000 people. So would you be willing to go through 2,000 people to end up being worth $250 million? Of course you say yes now. Hindsight, right? Of course. But what if you didn't know exactly what the end result was going to be? You just played the numbers. And those numbers will work no matter what company you're in. Talk to 2 people a day for a year. I love this quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. That is a very powerful... That's just like what comes out of you when you get squeezed. What comes out of you? No matter who you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter how big of a rock star or a movie star or a basketball player you are, you will be squeezed. Turn on TMZ and you see it every day with those guys. Unlimited money, yet can't stay out of trouble. What comes out of you when you get squeezed? Those are the people that I love to work with. Not the ones when the money's flowing, everybody's all excited. Yeah. Are you still going to be here when things don't go as planned? That's the temporary phase because it goes right back up. It's just a matter of when that happens. Sometimes problems don't require a solution to solve them. Instead, they require maturity to outgrow them. See, don't pray to the Lord for things to be easier. Pray for things to be harder so that you can learn the skills necessary to conquer those problems. Anytime failure or a setback happens to you, you're just sharpening your sword. You're gaining experience that you didn't have before. Someone asked me this question because the merger from our last company into this company has been anything but perfect. You know, what could go wrong did go wrong. I lost almost everything. And the question was, how could you be so calm during this phase? Because for me, it is just that, a phase that I've been through time and time and time again, that I've witnessed in others of greatness, that happen time and time and time again, and they persevere through it and come out stronger than they were before, with more money in their bank than before. When most people during those times quit, give up, they move on. They didn't make it. You got to outgrow the problems. See the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's talk about personality traits. And this is very important. Why? Because you're going to go out there and you're going to be talking to people. And most people fall under one of these four categories, personality-wise. And it's good to know so that you know how to approach them when you're talking to them. So let's say a shark is driven by money and respect, power. They love the attention. They love the highlight. They love people looking at them. They love power. They're the sharks. If you guys know any sharks, type their name in the chat box. Or if you are a shark, type you in the chat box if you're a shark. Then you have whales. Whales are motivated by helping people. They're not motivated by the money. They're not motivated by the power and respect. They don't care about those things. They care about how many people can I help today, even at my own expense. Those are whales. Now, let's say you went up to a shark and you said, Hey, shark, you need to join Shop at Shark. Want to know why? We give away a free app that's helping people save money on products that they're buying anyway. Yeah, we can help a lot of churches and nonprofits, and we can help people that's struggling just to pay their bills. Now they can have some extra money coming back to them because of savings. A shark is yawning at this time and already tunes you out. Who do you think would listen to that? The whale would. That's exactly what a whale wants to hear. What if you went to a whale saying, Hey, whale, you need to get into this company, Shop at Sherlock. Nobody knows about it yet. It was ranked #1 in the world. It's one of the fastest growing companies over the previous 6 months. It's in the greatest economy on the planet named e-commerce. This company pays out 68% on the dollar. Over the next 2 to 3 years, this company will be paying out more money than any other company in the industry. As a matter of fact, by the time this is a $100 million company, this company will have people making more money than any other company. Do you think a whale wants to hear that? No, you just turned them off. A shark would love to hear that. You're speaking a shark's language. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. What about the dolphins? The dolphins just want to have fun. They want to have fun. If they're making a lot of money and they're not having fun, they're going to do something else. My sister was a classic example of a dolphin. When I joined my very first network marketing company, I was in college. And I was just about to graduate when I came home. Came to LA. This was before webinars and all that kind of stuff. We only had one conference call a week, and it was a team call on Sunday. We built our business by passing out, it wasn't even DVDs back then. It was video cassettes, video VH1s. Passed out the movie tapes. And they said, you need to have these passed out as much as often. And we would physically go to a meeting every Thursday at the West End Hotel on Century Boulevard in Los Angeles, right across the street from the airport, every Thursday night. I would drive over an hour and a half in traffic to be there every Thursday night. Dressed up. So one night I was getting dressed and ready to go. And my god sister says, where are you going? I'm going to a business meeting. Now, she was bored, had nothing to do. Can I come? Yeah, get dressed, let's go. So she comes with me. Now, she had to be at the time, I think she was 18 or 19 years old at that time. I was 21, 22. So we go to the hotel, and we walk in, and all my sister sees and hears is music playing, people hugging each other, smiling and laughing, and all these guys dressed up, suited and booted, talking about making money and traveling around the country for the next event. As far as my sister was concerned, she hit the jackpot. She said, where do I sign up? Didn't even know the name of the company and wanted to sign up. Not because of the money, not because she wants to help people, but the fact they announced the next convention was going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. And all she knew, hey, her brother went to school in Atlanta. She just couldn't wait to get down there. And that's why she signed up. Because everybody was having fun. And her leg ended up being my largest organization. Go figure. She couldn't tell you nothing about the comp plan, nothing about the products. Took her a while to really remember the name. She didn't care about that. When's the next meeting? When's the next meeting? Then you have the urchins, and the urchins take up the majority of my time. They do. They take up all of my time. Urchins have 1,000,001 questions. They need to know all of the facts before they move a muscle. And in their mind, they say, how do you expect me to sign up when I don't know what's going on? How do you expect me to talk to people when I don't know what's going on? I need to know everything first. I'm not going to look stupid. I'm not going to get bamboozled. I'm not going to get scammed. I need to know everything. What is Michael Weeder's Social Security number? You should hear the type of questions that I get. And I asked this one woman this one time, I said, let me ask you a question. Do you really need to know the answer to that, or you just want to ask just to ask it? Is the answer of that question, going to determine whether you're going to sign up or not? No. See, a lot of urchins ask questions just for the sake of asking questions. You guys understand that? So that in their mind, when they do make a decision, you've been vetted. The company's been vetted. And it's not that it's bad, it's just the opposite of my personality. Now, a lot of people think a lot that I am an urchin because I do know 100% of the facts. I make it a point to know 100% of the facts. Why? Because I'm a professional. I want to know my business. I want to know my products. But it's the opposite of my personality. My personality is like this. Where do I sign up? Move out of my way. Let me work. And I'll figure out how it works and how the compensation plan works when I get my check. My last company, I was making 5 figures a month in less than 4 months. And I never understood. It took me almost 5 months to fully understand the compensation plan. Could you believe that? It took me 5 months to fully understand it. But I did not wait. This is the only thing about urchins. They wait too doggone long and end up losing more than it helps. Here's the flip side about urchins, though. Urchins end up making more money than everybody else. You want to know why? Because by the time an urchin finally makes their decision, finally, and they get started, nothing can sway an urchin to do something else. Because they're like, hey, I did all my research. This company is sound and solid. Urchins turn into sharks. They make you feel stupid for pitching them on something else. They're like, hey, you need to be in my business. I did the research on this. This thing is solid. What's wrong with you? Urchins end up being the most loyal, they last the longest, and they make the most money. Urchins. So you want to know these personalities? Identify what your personality trait is. Because when you speak to people, it only takes me less than 25, 30 seconds to figure out the person on the other line's personality. How? I ask them a couple of questions. What do you do for a living? That right there will tell you very quickly what their personality is. So you must know these personality traits so when you're talking to people, you know how to approach them. You talk to a whale like a whale. You talk to a dolphin like a dolphin. You talk to an urchin as an urchin. You talk to a shark as a shark. It even goes for edification. You know when we do 3 ways and you edify the other person, how do you edify them? Well, I don't know that person. How can I talk good about them? This is all you need to know. This is how you hit all the personality traits. Hey guys, I'm going to introduce you to Rod Doctor. Rod Doctor knows 100% of all the facts of this business, urchin. Rod is having a whole lot of fun, dolphin. Rod loves to help people in this business, whale. And Rod is making a lot of money, and as a global power, is a co-owner of the company, shark. In just a few seconds, I hit on every single personality trait. You guys see that? You understand that? So now nobody's getting left behind. Positives up, negatives down. Or positives down, negatives up. What that means is this. When you're having good days and you're positive, make sure your downline sees that. When you're not having a good day, make sure your downline does not see your negativity. You don't want your negativity to rub off on everybody else. Everybody else having a good day, don't ruin it for them. You know, take it to your upline. And I actually regret that because I get it. People call me all the time with negativity, and it hurts me because I feel it on my own vibration, my own spirit. I don't like being surrounded by people who are negative. I want positivity. See yourself as a diamond or the top position of whatever company you're a part of. See yourself as a diamond. Perception becomes reality. Remember that exercise I told you to do at the very beginning? You know, before you fall asleep, you trick your mind. Now understand, this does not mean fake it till you make it. No, no, no. No, no, no. We do not fake it till we make it. We act as if. When I become a diamond, do you think I'm going to be speaking any differently and acting any differently than I am right now? No, I already see myself as a diamond. The paperwork just hasn't hit yet. Act as if. Because other people will see you acting as if, but they don't know that you're acting as if, but you're giving off that vibe. Fellas, whenever you put on a suit, don't you just feel a little bit more powerful? Right? So I love when I put on a suit and walk out the house. You feel a little bit more important. That's why you act as if. Perception becomes reality. See, a lot of times people say, hey, I want to sign up that number 1 hitter. I want to make sure I get the best person on my team. You have to become the best person. Go into the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, would I sign up with you? And be honest. Look yourself in the eye. If you lie to yourself, what does that say about you? Nobody else can hear. Nobody else knows what your answer is going to be. Be real with yourself. If the answer is no, that's okay. The next question you ask is why? Why would I not sign up with myself? And once you have that answer down, you know what you have to do to work on. You know what to work on about yourself. Because birds of a feather flock together. Rich people do not hang out with broke people. You guys understand that? Rich people do not hang out. Successful people don't hang out with losers. Losers. No. They're not compatible. I guarantee you right now, if you were to write down on a piece of paper your 5 closest people in your inner circle, and you add up their bank account divided by 5, that's probably how much you make as well. That's unfortunate, but it's true. If you want to be more out of life, you're going to have to start hanging around with people who have what you want. Just being in their sphere of influence. You know what Henry Ford said? Henry Ford was one of the richest men the world has ever seen. I think that happens when you help develop the car on mass production. I think at the height of his life, he was worth $200 million. Do you guys understand how much that is? The world's richest man right now is worth like 50 to 60 million. $200 million, Henry Ford. And he said, if I were to lose all of my money, the first thing I would do is find out where all the rich people hang out and go hang out there. There's a scientific reason behind it as well. I don't have the time to go into tonight. Here's another way of why perception of yourself. If all you do is see yourself as, I don't know if I can afford $34.95, guess what? The people you attract to you can't afford $34.95 either. It's true. But to help you understand this in perspective, have you ever met a woman, or do you know a woman, who has always been in a bad, abusive relationship? And it's like, no matter how many times she breaks up with somebody and gets a new boyfriend, the boyfriend is exactly the same as the last one, just with a different name. You guys ever wondered that? And finally her girlfriends will tell her, you know what, maybe you need to see a psychiatrist. It might be you. What do you mean, me? It's not me. Well, you seem to be attracting the same type of guy. So she goes to the psychiatrist or therapist and tells her of the problem. And the therapist says, let me ask you a question. What do you want in a man? That's a simple question, right? I want you to think about that for a second. What do you want in a man? Here's her response. Well, I don't want a man who stays out late at night after he gets off work. I don't want a man who goes with his buddies and gets drunk and I either have to try to find him in a jail cell somewhere or go pick him up, or afraid that he's on the side of a street because he was drunk driving. I don't want a man who abuses me. I don't want a man who cheats on me. I don't want a man who disrespects me in front of my children. I don't want a man who says I'm ugly, who verbally abuses me, who says I'm nothing without him. Now, all of those things sounds true, right? What woman wants a man like that? Sounds good. But here's the problem. She never answered the question. So what was the question? What do you want in a man? You guys see that? What do you want in a man? She didn't tell what she wanted. She said what she doesn't want. The universe does not understand negatives as far as positive and negative. It only understands what is. Whatever it is you're thinking about, because all the universe sees is abuse, cheat, physically abuse, do drugs, stay out, disrespect me. So the universe keeps providing her with what she's asking for. So instead of focusing on what you don't have, what you lack, what you don't like, what if she said, I want a man who treats me like a princess or a queen. I want a man who cherishes and adores me. I want a man who loves spending time with me. I want a man who puts a smile on my face. I want a man who loves my child as well. I want a man that I could spend the rest of my life with, and we go on this epic journey together. Do you see the difference? What is resonating in her brain? What she wants. How does that make her feel? Talking about what she actually wants. See, because if you asked her, how do you feel after she talked about what she doesn't want? Bad, horrible, this is the type of guy I keep getting.
So she keeps attracting that. But if you think and dwell on the positive, then that's the vibration you're going to be flowing at, and you're going to have things attracted right back to you. Act as if. Perception is reality. This is a very important quote by Les Brown. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. So whatever you have in life right now, it is because that's exactly where you are right now. You can't have more out of life. See, I did this experiment with my son. I wanted to teach him a lesson. And it's interesting, I did this with both my sons. My 6-year-old, I did this when he was 4. And the mind of a child. And here's one thing I did to him. I said, okay, he wanted some water, right? And he had a baby. We called it the baby cup because he was little. He had his own baby cups. And so I filled it up with water. And he said, well, I'm not a baby anymore. I want more water. So I turned on the faucet, right? Put more water into the cup. But the water kept spilling out. And he said, no, Daddy, I want more water. I said, I'm giving you more water. He says, no, the water keeps spilling out. I said, well, what's the solution? He said, get a bigger cup. Ooh. That's a life lesson right there. No matter how much water you pour into the same cup that you have, you can't hold more water than the cup provides. That's the same in your life right now. You are a vessel. You have in your life what you can hold. The reason why you don't have more is because you haven't built a bigger cup for yourself. That's where personal development and self-improvement come into place. The bigger your cup, the more you can hold. The Bible says the Lord will not put you in situations that you cannot handle, but you cannot grow unless you grow. And the cup of Christ is infinite. And I don't mean to preach on anybody. I'm not. I'm just using an example. Giving an example. Don't be offended. How big is your cup? And there are times where you do have a bigger cup, but you don't have that much water flowing in. That's temporary. Don't go trading in your big cup for a smaller cup somewhere else because you think you can get better results quicker somewhere else. You'll have a big cup already. Fill it. Go fill it. Is our mindset training. So remember your assignment for tonight before you go to bed. I want you to think about what it will feel like if money was no longer an option. What would you do with your time? How does it make you feel? There's a point in time where you got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was at one point in my life. I was sick and tired of being broke. I was sick and tired of my money running out, and I still got 7 days left in the month before I get paid. I was sick and tired of waking up on Monday morning to run off to rush hour traffic, to go to a job that I didn't like, to work with people I couldn't stand, to eat lunch at 12 when I'm hungry at 11, to ask for permission to go to the bathroom as if I am a child. Knowing that I'm going to do this for 40 years of my life, if I'm lucky and not to get laid off. To retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. I was sick and tired of that. I wanted more. But to want more, you have to be willing to do more. Nothing's going to be handed to you. You have to make that decision. Now, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm going to play this video that's called Focus on the Goal and Not the Task. Focus on the goal. This is where probably 95% of people fail. People are focusing on the how and the task so much that they've lost sight of the goal. Brandon, how many hours are you willing to work a week in your home-based business? That's a trick question for me. It's when the job gets done. Why? Because the goal of the job getting done is $100,000 a month and more. That's my job. That's my goal. That's my desire. That's my focus. Not, man, everybody on the team is quitting. Should I go ahead and quit too? No. Best of luck to them. I'm focusing on my goal, and I will attract people to me who see the same goal as me, who don't bitch, whine, complain, and want things to change, and are willing to help make something happen instead of complain about things that happen. That's what I'm looking for. That's my focus. That's my goal. Who's with me? If I lose everybody, I lose everybody. So what? Focus on the goal and not the task. The moment I figured that out, my entire business life changed, and I never made less than 4 figures a month in my home-based business, and I retired at the age of 36. Everybody else that jumps ship, everybody else that can't hang, everybody else that complains more than they find solutions are the ones that jump ship from company to company to company, chasing that red rabbit, and never reach the top. Never. You look at every single top performer in every single company, and they've been there for years. They don't jump ship when times get hard. That's why they are where they are. I know all of them. I know their stories. On the flip side, you don't stay blindly in something that also is not working. It just may not be working for you, and you may not have the patience to wait, and you've got to do something else. Then by all means, go do something else. My goal is not your goal. But I am going to tell you before we leave tonight what my goal is. What do I see? Why am I willing to sacrifice? Why am I willing to lose every single person on the team? Why? One of those things is I'm tired. I'm tired of the game. I'm tired of having to start over in a different company over and over and over again. I'm tired of the hype. I'm tired of the drama. Another reason is because I found a company that is debt-free. I found a company with a solid, legitimate, trustworthy owner. I believe, or not, I don't need it, this is not requisite of my belief. It's a fact. E-commerce is the fastest growing industry on the planet. E-commerce is changing the way we live our lives. One way or another, it's impacting every single man, woman, and child on the planet. That is a fact. You turn on the news and you see it. This is the greatest economic shift in wealth in all of the history of mankind combined. This is one of those things that changes the universe, like the invention of electricity, or the invention of cars, or the invention of planes, or the invention of the internet. That's how big this is. We're in a company where people are making 4 and 5 figures a week. So if they can make the money, so can I, because they are not better than I am. All of those factors in place, all that means is, it's just not your time yet. It's going to take the time. And I know this, mark my words. I will become one of the top money earners in this industry and the entire world through this company, the Sherlock. And all of the people who doubted, who laughed, who left, who didn't see what I see, are going to be kicking themselves 3 years from now. I promise that. I have never failed when I put my mind to something. Never have. At the end of the day, it is just a matter of time. And you have to figure that out for yourself, your time, your goal. Why are you here? This is the only company that gave me owner. I'm not just a rep, I'm an owner. And you can be an owner as well by hitting the top position. You know what always sticks in my mind? I'll tell you this quick story, then we'll dismiss. When I was in Atlanta, and I was at one of my first trainings, it wasn't a presentation, but it was a training, and this guy stood up, he was a regional vice president in the company, and he said, and it took him 4 years to hit regional vice president. 4 years. Let me say that again. He didn't jump ship. He stayed for 4 years before he hit the top. And he was making $250,000 a year after 4 years. 1999, this was. Making $250,000 a year. Back then, I mean, that's like making almost more than $500,000 a year. And they said, why did you stick with it when a lot of people hit RVP before you within a year or 2 years? Why did you stay with it? Or people quit. Why did you stay with it? He said, because I learned my lesson. What's that lesson? I was one of the original people invited to be catch this, an investor in Microsoft. What? Yeah. They were doing a project raising money, and they invited 12 people to invest $250,000 for some project, right? They was looking for 12. And he was at that meeting, and he learned they had to sign an NDA and everything about what Microsoft was about to do. He said, yes, I'm in. He went home. He talked to his wife. His wife said, you must be crazy. Never heard of this company. You're going to spend $250,000. You might as well just kiss that money away. No, you're not. She wasn't in the room. She didn't see what he saw, but she talked him out of it. So he didn't. And he said, today, all of those 12 people who did invest are worth they're all multi-millionaires. Not worth 10 million. Multi-millionaires on a $250,000 investment. He said, in most times in life, every person is granted 2 great opportunities. It's up to you to figure out, is this your first or is this your last? Things like this don't happen every day. So he said, I was willing to stick it out. You've got to be. I'm not getting left behind again. That's why I am here as well. I'm not going to jump ship. This company is where it is without me. And let Chuck and Simon and everybody else making 20, 30, 40,000 a week, and I quit and went somewhere else because I wanted to make a quick $5,000. You must be out of your mind. I'm here for the long haul. Focus on the goal, not the task. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. For missing the fight. Some of you probably watching the fight right now, but it's okay. This was recorded, so the people who missed it tonight, they will be able to listen to this again. And I actually kind of felt I was off my game tonight. But if you go to YouTube, type in Mindset Training Brandon Ivey, you'll see all the previous Mindset trainings you can take a look at as well. But I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at the top. My name is Brandon Ivey, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock. See you all later. God bless and good night. Bye-bye.